Imagine a picture on a billboard of an infant crying with these bold words right next to her. Honestly, Mom, chances are he won't stay with you. What happens to me? These messages can be found on billboards and bus stops all around New York City for the purpose of preventing teen pregnancy. Despite the city's best efforts, negative backlash is occurring. Alexandra Stifferlin, a reporter for Time magazine, states in her 2013 article, What's Behind the Drop in U.S. Teen Birth Rates, is that these pregnancy prevention ads are shaming teens into acting responsibly, a tactic that always hasn't been proven effective, which further emphasizes the need for smarter pregnancy prevention tactics. Young men and women must complete a general sex education course by 6th grade, and then be required to take a home economics course as well as a standardized health course specializing in sex education by high school. This will further their knowledge of teen pregnancy and the consequences of being a teen parent. Because the United States of America has the highest teen pregnancy rate of all the first world nations, schools must introduce standardized sex education and home economics courses in order to reduce the rate of teen pregnancy in the United States.
The United States has the highest teen pregnancy rate in the developed world due to the lack of information given to young adolescents in school. As stated on the Health and Human Services government website, 82% of teen pregnancies are not planned as a result of young kids being uninformed of the reproduction process. About 400,000 girls between the ages of 14 and 19 give unplanned birth each year, which is the highest among any other developed country. According to Sherry Roan, writer for the LA Times, stated in the January 9, 2012 article, U.S. teen pregnancy rate remains highest in developed world that some of the young ladies claimed they had no access to contraceptives or birth control, and others said their partners were unaware of how to use contraceptives. With little access to contraceptives, peer pressure, and high hormones, how are young adolescents supposed to avoid teen pregnancy in a system that doesn't enforce teaching sex education at an early age and provide solutions for sexually driven teenagers? There is no escaping the possibility of teen pregnancy, but enforcing sex education at mature age, there is a possibility of reducing the amount of unplanned teen births. There has been $1.5 billion in government funding for the abstinence-only program since 1998, as stated on the Advocates for Youth website last updated March 3, 2012. The program is offered in only certain states and schools to give students information about the importance of staying celibate until marriage. Though the government and many schools believe that this program serves as sex education along with promoting celibacy, the program has been proven to be ineffective. About 95% of Americans have premarital sex, according to author Daniel Denver's November 2, 2011 article on The Guardian titled America's Problem with Sex Education. As many teens begin to become familiar with their body and want to explore their sexuality, it is difficult to prevent teen pregnancy even with such programs because of the factors that promote sex, such as the media. Too much money has been put into promoting celibacy, but that money can instead be put into enforcing sex education in all schools. Now that you are aware of the different situations of teen pregnancy, let us discuss the root of this problem. With the media constantly promoting and glamorizing sex through reality shows and advertisement, it is a necessity to enforce sex education in all schools. Parents have a huge influence on the problem with teenagers' inability to avoid unsafe sex. Parents have the power to inform the student of the process of sex and the possible outcomes after intercourse, but they are so concerned with preserving the innocence that they possess. Unfortunately, at the same time, they are preventing their student from knowledge that is essential to know and comprehend for their life. With many schools not offering sex education, students are blunt to what contraceptives are and how they are used, along with what the alternatives are, such as birth control, and what its purpose is. The lack of information given to students on the topic of sex seems appalling to most parents, and therefore the responsibility lies on the school to provide them with the information, but many schools do not enforce sex education. Young adolescents are easily influenced and manipulated by the media and entertainment industry every day through the use of advertisement and reality television. With the increasing glamorization of sex, teenagers become involved in sex activity because of what they witness firsthand. Sex only until marriage programs serve as an alternative outlook on sex than the media. Their goal is to promote celibacy, but most have failed because instead of informing the students about the nature of sex, safer sex, birth control, and sex orientation, they strictly rely on promoting abstinence from sexual behavior, according to Planned Parenthood, last updated June 14, 2011.
Seeing as how a suitable solution is needed, let us discuss allowing sex education into middle schools. Informing students as early as the 6th grade about the consequences of sex will decrease the problem of young teens and pregnancy. These courses will be provided as a promotional requirement. Sex education will make students become more aware of how puberty and sexual intercourse are tied together. Informing students about the stages of puberty would be part of the sex education requirements, which means the awkward video about puberty will cease to exist. However, because this is a required class, there will be no opt decision for parents to make. According to an article on Planned Parenthood website from 2012, implementing sex education will be a beneficial investment because it would create a generation of women and men comfortable in their own skin, able to make well-informed, responsible decisions, form healthy relationships, and take care of their bodies. Jenny Poxon, a writer for ABC News, confirmed in her 2013 article, Sex Education, Still Necessary in a Digital Age, that only 65% of young adults spoke to their parents or carers in order to obtain sexual information. A family planning section will be part of the sex education standards and will ultimately ensure 100% of the students obtain the information they need. Certain standards include the act of sexual intercourse, fertilization, information about sexually transmitted diseases, and alternatives to having safe sex. The main objective of the class would be to inform students that having sexual intercourse is a planned event, not a glamorized situation that involves hormones.
To educate the youth of America about teen pregnancy, a mandatory general sex education course should be completed before the child begins 6th grade. Later on, students should also be required to take another course in sex education as well as a home economics course in order to develop a complete understanding of the consequences of both sex and teen pregnancy. Because the United States of America has the highest teen birth rate of all the first world nations, due mostly to misinformation and improper tactics of sex education to young adults, schools must introduce standardized sex education and home economics courses in order to reduce the rate of teen pregnancy in the United States. With the help of standardized sex education, a brighter future will be made for the youth of our country.